I guess we're recording. I'm having to rely on Mrs. Gustkey, so I never know what's going on. Don't tell her I said that, all right? Don't rat me out. Anyway, uh, lawnboy, and I check it out. I believe that's the only name we know him by. We never hear his real name. Uh, Met Arnold, and Arnold is an interesting character, and we had some foreshadowing was the word I was looking for. Uh, there's a lot of foreshadowing in this book. Anyway, holy my goodness, is it beautiful today? It's a little chilly though. The wind is kind of crazy, but on this side of the peninsula, it's nice. Chapter 4: Capital Growth coupled with the principles of production expansion. Capital. If we were a social studies class, we talk more about that. But capital, if you just equate the word capital with money, that's good enough for us here. And then production expansion. Of course, production expansion is what do you produce? So expansion. So right now, raise your hand and tell me what's it gonna mean for production expansion with a guy with a riding lawnmower. Okay, I'm kind of enjoying this today. Although my wife is gonna take me to a, a nursery. We're gonna buy plants. I'm really excited about that. You can see it on my face here. Chapter 4: Capital Growth coupled with the principles excuse me, with the principles of production expansion. I guess you'd say that I'm a pretty normal boy, intelligence wise. I mean, it's true that my parents are very smart people. Maybe not about money, but in other ways. I mean, my dad is full of ideas and how to tackle them. He even understands Einstein. My mother can do amazingly complicated math in her head. If you thought about it, how cool are your parents? And think of one or two things that your parents do really well. I've read this book several times. That's the first time this thought has ever come to me. I'm not like that. Now, I can read and learn and things. I go to a regular school in Eden Prairie and I get good grades. Maybe good is too strong a word. I get all right grades. And with my average brain and average grades, I lead a pretty average life. When I played with toys, I made models, and sometimes I still make models. Oh, that would be someone that we know that makes models. I went through a massive video game phase, and I still like to play them now and then. I like girls, but I can't talk to them, not a word. I try to be nice to everyone and polite to old folks, people over 20 or 30. I don't want to know what you're thinking right now when I just read that. Over 20 or 30. All right, so just keep that to yourself. So there's nothing to explain what happened to me that summer. It's easy to say it was all just luck, but it's hard to believe there wasn't some kind of force behind it. Foreshadowing. After meeting Arnold, I wasn't sure exactly what he was going to do, but 2 days later I mowed his lawn and he told me that he would buy me not the $35 worth of some kind of stock that he talked about, but $40, which was the original amount that I'd wanted for mowing his lawn. "Ah, you're right," he said. "That's a fair price. I bought you stock in a small company that makes coffins. They're just starting up, and the stock is going for 50 cents a share." "Coffins? You mean like for dead people?" "Right. But I don't want any coffins." "Oh, you're not going to get any. You're going to get 80 shares of a stock in a company called Memorial Wooden Container Corporation." Well, good, because a coffin, I mean, that's more trouble than I need right now. Something wrong. We were standing on Arnold's front steps, and he handed me some kind of hippie iced tea that tasted sweet, he said, but had no sugar in it. He studied my face. Well, nothing really. It's just I'm getting more and more jobs, and I can't do them all, and I have to start turning them down. Supply and demand, Arnold nodded. It's groovy, man. The very nature of the concept of the economic structure. You just need more mowers, more people to get to meet the growing demand. The previous the previous lawn service, before, of course, the unfortunate instance of the romantic mishap, had a small crew of workers to handle the burden of the lawns you're now working. You need to start distributing the wealth, dispersing the work. Far out, man. It's beautiful. Well, it might be beautiful, but I can't do it, and I don't know anybody. I might, he held up his hand, be able to help you with this. Help me mow lawns? Even his smile looked round. No, I'm busy, but I've done some investing for a man named Pasquale. He knows lots of people who are always looking for work. He's a good, reliable person, known him for years. Can you come back after dark? Well, sure, I suppose, but not real late because my parents want me in by 9, but alarm bells were ringing in my head. Why only after dark? Pasquale looks after his kids during the day. When his wife comes home from her job, then he goes to work. He mows lawns when people are sleeping. Arnold shook his head. No, he does other work that isn't so noisy. Trimming, fertilizing, that sort of thing. Quiet stuff that won't wake the neighborhood. In the dark? He wears a headlamp. Ingenious, naturally. I admit I admire his creativity in the face of opposition. Entrepreneurship at its finest. There are no impossibilities, just hurdles to be overcome. Is it, safe? Kenny Halverson's uncle said he didn't like half the things he saw in the daylight. Excuse me. And there was very good reasons for being afraid of the dark. We were supposed to be out in the dark, Kenny Halverson's uncle said. We'd be born with night vision goggles. Ah, something's flying around my face. Gah! Ugh. Pasquale is honest, which is what you really wanted to know. And yes, he's safe. If you don't want to meet him, that's fine. Just keep your business at its present level. But if you want to expand, I think Pasquale can help you. 5 days earlier, I'd been wondering whether I could find enough money for a bicycle inner tube, and now I was considering how I could expand my business to distribute work and disperse wealth. I shook my head at how weird things had gotten and looked back at Arnold. Okay, let's go talk to Pasquale. Groovy, man. I'll call him right now. We'll meet him tonight. And so we did. I like this book. I like Gary Paulson, and I like that he just writes stuff, and he writes things that he thinks are fun. And anyway, so we'll keep going. And even though this story is kind of silly, what would happen if you actually got a mower and mowed lawns for people this summer? Could you actually make money doing that? How crazy would that be?